Welcome to our series on online finance classes in the United States. Before we begin, it is crucial to state that the information provided in this for educational and informational purposes only. We are not financial advisors, and the content presented here is not intended to be a substitute for professional financial, investment, tax, or legal advice. The topics discussed are broad and may not be suitable for your individual financial situation. Always consult with a qualified and licensed professional before making any financial decisions. Your reliance on any information provided in this series is solely at your own risk. We do not guarantee any specific outcomes or results. This content is not an offer or solicitation to buy or sell any securities or financial instruments. Please be aware that discussions of financial topics are subject to various regulations in the United States, and this series aims to be compliant with all applicable laws and YouTube community guidelines by providing general education and not personalized advice. Hello, and welcome to the first chapter of our exploration into the world of online finance classes in the United States. In today's digital age, the way we learn is constantly evolving. From mastering a new language to understanding complex scientific theories, the internet has opened up a universe of knowledge at our fingertips. One of the most impactful areas of this educational revolution is finance. The days of financial literacy being a topic reserved for business schools and Wall Street insiders are long gone. Today, anyone with an internet connection can access a wealth of information to better understand their money, their investments, and their financial future. This series, Online Finance Classes in the U.S. Are They Right for You?, is designed to be your guide in navigating this exciting new landscape of financial learning. Over the course of our journey together, we will delve into the various aspects of online financial education. We'll explore the different types of courses available, from short, introductory modules on budgeting to in-depth programs on investment analysis. We will also weigh the pros and cons of learning about finance in a virtual classroom, helping you to determine if this method of education aligns with your personal learning style and financial goals. Our aim is to provide you with a comprehensive overview, so you can make an informed decision about whether enrolling in an online finance class is the right next step for you. Remember, the goal here is not to tell you what to do with your money, but to empower you with the knowledge to make those decisions more confidently yourself. So, what has fueled this surge in online financial education? Several factors have converged to create the perfect environment for this learning revolution. First and foremost is the undeniable convenience and flexibility it offers. In our fast-paced lives, finding the time to attend a traditional in-person class can be a significant challenge. Online courses allow you to learn at your own pace, on your own schedule. You can access lectures and materials late at night after the kids are asleep, during your lunch break, or even while commuting. This accessibility has broken down the barriers that once prevented many from seeking out financial education. Another driving force is the growing recognition of the importance of financial literacy. In an increasingly complex economic world, understanding personal finance is no longer a niche skill, it's a fundamental life skill. From managing student loan debt and navigating the housing market to planning for retirement in an era of changing pension landscapes, the need for sound financial knowledge has never been more critical. People from all walks of life, from recent college graduates to those nearing retirement, are realizing that taking control of their financial well-being is essential for a secure and prosperous future. Online courses have stepped in to meet this demand, offering a practical and approachable way to gain this vital knowledge. Furthermore, the variety of online finance classes available today is truly astounding. You can find courses that cater to every level of expertise and interest. For the absolute beginner, there are classes that start with the very basics: how to create a budget, the difference between a debit and a credit card, and the importance of an emergency fund. These foundational courses are designed to build confidence and provide a solid framework for future learning. For those with a foundational understanding, intermediate courses might cover topics like an introduction to the stock market, the fundamentals of mutual funds and ETFs, or strategies for paying down debt more effectively. And for the more advanced learner, the online world offers a treasure trove of specialized knowledge. You can find in-depth courses on options trading, real estate investing, cryptocurrency, and advanced retirement planning strategies. These specialized courses are often taught by industry professionals and experienced investors, providing insights that were once only accessible through expensive seminars or exclusive networks. This incredible diversity means that no matter where you are on your financial journey, there is likely an online course that can help you take the next step. It is also worth noting how technology has enhanced the learning experience. Modern online finance classes are far from the static, text-heavy courses of the past. Today's platforms often incorporate interactive quizzes, engaging video lectures, and online communities where you can connect with fellow students and instructors. Some courses even offer simulations that allow you to practice investing with virtual money, providing a risk-free way to apply what you've learned. This interactive and community-driven approach can make learning about finance more engaging and less intimidating. However, with this vast ocean of options comes the challenge of navigation. How do you choose the right course for you? How can you be sure that the information you are receiving is credible and unbiased? These are some of the critical questions we will be addressing in the upcoming chapters of this series. We'll provide you with a framework for evaluating different online finance classes, including how to research instructors, read reviews, and understand the course curriculum. We will also discuss the importance of being a discerning consumer of financial information, and how to spot red flags that might indicate a course is more focused on selling you a product than on providing genuine education. In our next chapter, we will take a closer look at the different types of online finance classes available, breaking them down by category, and helping you to identify which type of course might be the best fit for your specific needs. We will explore everything from free resources offered by reputable financial institutions to comprehensive paid programs that offer certification. We'll also discuss the different learning platforms where you can find these courses, from large online learning marketplaces to the websites of individual financial educators. Our goal throughout this series is to remain objective and informative. We will not be endorsing any specific courses or instructors. Instead, we will be equipping you with the tools and knowledge you need to conduct your own research and make choices that are right for you. Think of us as your guide, providing you with a map and a compass to navigate the world of online financial education. The journey to financial literacy is a personal one, and our role is to help you take those first steps with confidence and clarity. Thank you for joining us for this introductory chapter. We are excited to have you with us on this journey of discovery. The world of online finance classes holds immense potential to empower individuals to take control of their financial destinies. By the end of this series, you will have a much clearer understanding of what this world has to offer, and whether it is the right path for you. We hope you will join us for Chapter 2 as we begin our deep dive into the diverse landscape of online financial education. Welcome back. Before we proceed with this chapter, we must reiterate that the information provided in this audio series is strictly for educational and informational purposes. The content you are about to hear is not financial, investment, tax, or legal advice. We are not licensed financial professionals, and this material should not be used as a substitute for consultation with a qualified advisor who can consider your unique circumstances. Any actions you take based on the information in this series are at your own risk. This content does not endorse any specific products, services, or courses and is designed to provide a general overview in compliance with United States regulations and YouTube's community guidelines. Hello, and thank you for joining us for the second chapter of our series. In our opening chapter, we explored the rise of online financial education and the convenience that makes it so appealing. Now it's time to pull back the curtain and look at what's actually available. The term online finance class is incredibly broad, covering a vast and diverse range of topics, formats, and learning styles. Navigating this digital landscape can feel overwhelming at first. The goal of this chapter is to provide a clear map, breaking down the main categories of online finance classes to help you identify what might best suit your personal learning objectives. Generally, we can categorize these courses in a few different ways: by subject matter, by skill level, and by the platform or provider. Let's start with the most intuitive category: subject matter. Financial education isn't a single topic. It's a collection of many different, yet interconnected, disciplines. Understanding these core subjects will help you narrow your search significantly. First, we have the foundational courses, which we can group under personal finance fundamentals. These classes are the perfect starting point for anyone who feels like they're at square one. The curriculum in these courses typically covers essential life skills like budgeting and saving. You'll learn practical methods for tracking your income and expenses, creating a budget that works for your lifestyle, and developing effective saving strategies for both short-term goals, like a vacation, and long-term goals, like a down payment on a house. Another critical component of these fundamental courses is debt and credit management. These modules explain the different types of debt, such as credit card debt, student loans, and mortgages. They explore concepts like interest rates and amortization and present various strategies for managing and paying down debt. A significant focus is often placed on understanding your credit score. You'll learn what factors influence your score, how to read your credit report, and the steps you can take to build or repair your credit history, which is a cornerstone of your financial health. Moving on from the basics, the next major subject area is investing. For many, the world of investing seems complex and intimidating, and this is where online courses can be incredibly valuable. Introductory investing courses are designed to demystify the stock market. They explain fundamental concepts such as what stocks and bonds are, the difference between them, and the role of stock exchanges. You'll learn about different types of investment accounts such as a 401k, an IRA, or a standard brokerage account. Within the broader topic of investing, you'll find courses that focus on specific investment vehicles. For example, there are entire classes dedicated to mutual funds and exchange-traded funds, or ETFs. These courses explain how these funds work, the benefits of diversification, and how to evaluate different funds based on factors like expense ratios and past performance. Remember, the objective of these educational courses is to explain what these products are and how they work, not to recommend specific funds to buy. Other specialized investing courses might cover real estate, commodities, or the more volatile world of cryptocurrencies, each providing a deep dive into that specific asset class. A third and vitally important subject category is retirement planning. These courses are relevant to individuals at any stage of their career, not just those approaching retirement age. A good retirement planning course will walk you through the different types of retirement accounts, explaining the unique tax advantages of each, such as the difference between a traditional and a Roth IRA. They explore concepts like employer matching contributions in a 401k and the power of compound growth over long periods. These courses aim to help you understand how to calculate your potential retirement needs and create a long-term savings plan to help you reach your goals. They provide a framework for thinking about your financial future in a structured way. Beyond these three core pillars, you can find online classes on a multitude of other specialized financial topics. There are courses on tax planning, which explain the basics of the U.S. tax system and how different financial decisions can have tax implications. You can find classes on estate planning, which cover wills, trusts, and how to plan for the transfer of assets. There are also courses focused on financial psychology, exploring the behavioral biases that can influence our financial decisions, and even classes on entrepreneurial finance for those looking to start or grow a business. Now let's look at another way to categorize these courses. By skill level. Most platforms will label their courses as beginner, intermediate, or advanced. Beginner courses, as we've discussed, assume no prior knowledge. They are built to be accessible, avoiding jargon wherever possible and focusing on core concepts. Intermediate courses are for those who have a grasp of the basics but want to deepen their understanding. An intermediate investing course, for instance, might move beyond defining stocks and bonds into topics like fundamental and technical analysis or portfolio allocation strategies. Advanced courses are designed for individuals who are already knowledgeable but wish to master a specific, complex area of finance. These might include deep dives into options trading strategies, advanced real estate investment analysis, or international finance. It's important to be honest about your current knowledge level when selecting a course to ensure you don't end up in a class that is either too simplistic or too overwhelming. Finally, let's briefly touch upon the platforms and providers. Online finance classes are offered by a wide array of sources. Universities and colleges often provide free or paid courses through platforms like Coursera and edX. These are frequently taught by the same professors who teach on campus and offer a structured, academic approach. There are also dedicated online learning platforms like Udemy and Skillshare, where you'll find thousands of courses created by a diverse range of instructors, from industry professionals to passionate amateurs. Additionally, many established financial services companies and nonprofit organizations offer free educational resources, webinars, and courses as part of their public outreach. Even individual financial educators and bloggers create their own in-depth courses. In our next chapter, we will explore how to evaluate these different platforms and providers to help you find credible, high-quality information. For now, the key takeaway is that the world of online finance classes is vast and varied. By first identifying the subject you want to learn about, be it budgeting, investing, or retirement, and then choosing the appropriate skill level, you can dramatically narrow your search and find a course that is truly tailored to your needs. Thank you for listening to this chapter. We hope this breakdown has given you a clearer picture of the types of online finance classes available. Join us for Chapter 3, where we'll discuss the pros and cons of learning finance online compared to traditional methods. Welcome to Chapter 3. As we continue, we must remind you that the content in this series is produced for educational and informational purposes only. It is not and should not be considered professional financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. We are not licensed financial advisors. The information presented is general in nature and does not account for your individual financial situation or objectives. Always seek the counsel of a qualified and licensed professional before making any financial decisions. Your reliance on the information provided herein is solely at your own risk. This series is created to be compliant with United States regulations and YouTube community guidelines by providing general educational content, not specific recommendations or advice. Hello and welcome back. In our previous chapter, we mapped out the diverse landscape of online finance classes, categorizing them by subject and skill level. Now that you have a better idea of what is available, it's time to ask a crucial question. Is learning this way actually effective? Like any educational method, online learning has a distinct set of advantages and potential drawbacks. In this chapter, we will take a balanced and objective look at the pros and cons of the virtual classroom, helping you to assess whether this format aligns with your personal learning style and circumstances. Let's begin with the advantages, which are often the most celebrated aspects of online education. The most significant benefit, and the one that draws millions of learners to online platforms, is flexibility. Traditional education requires you to be in a specific place at a specific time. Online courses remove these constraints. You have the freedom to learn whenever and wherever it is most convenient for you. This could mean watching a lecture on investing during your morning commute, completing a budgeting exercise late at night, or reviewing course materials from a coffee shop on a Saturday afternoon. For working professionals, parents, and anyone with a busy or unpredictable schedule, this flexibility is not just a convenience. It is the key that unlocks the door to continuing education. Closely related to flexibility is the ability to learn at your own pace. In a traditional classroom, the instructor sets the pace for the entire group. If you grasp a concept quickly, you may have to wait for others to catch up. If you find a topic challenging, you might feel left behind. Online learning personalizes this experience. You can rewatch complex video lessons as many times as you need, pause to take detailed notes, and spend extra time on quizzes and exercises until you feel confident. Conversely, you can move quickly through material you already understand. This self-paced nature can lead to a more efficient and less stressful learning process, tailored specifically to your needs. Another compelling advantage is the potential for reduced costs. While not all online courses are inexpensive, they often present a more affordable alternative to in-person classes. The savings come in several forms. The tuition or enrollment fees for online courses can sometimes be lower than their brick-and-mortar counterparts. Furthermore, you eliminate many of the associated costs of traditional learning, such as commuting expenses, parking fees, and the need to purchase physical textbooks, as most materials are provided in a digital format. For those on a tight budget, the cost-effectiveness of online options can make financial education accessible when it otherwise might not be. Finally, the sheer variety of options available online is unparalleled. As we discussed in the last chapter, the digital world offers courses on nearly every financial topic imaginable, from the basics of credit scores to the complexities of options trading. You are not limited by the course offerings of your local community college or university. You can access instruction from experts and institutions located across the country, and even around the world. This vast selection allows you to find a program that perfectly matches your specific interests and goals. Now, we must turn our attention to the other side of the coin, the potential disadvantages. While online learning offers tremendous benefits, it is not without its challenges. The most significant hurdle for many is the requirement for self-discipline and motivation. The very flexibility that makes online learning so attractive can also be its greatest weakness. Without the structure of a scheduled class to attend and the physical presence of an instructor and peers, it can be easy to procrastinate. To succeed in an online course, you must be a proactive, self-directed learner. You are responsible for managing your own time, setting your own study schedule, and holding yourself accountable for completing the work. Another potential drawback is the lack of face-to-face interaction. Learning is often a social activity. In a traditional classroom, you can easily ask the instructor a question for immediate clarification, engage in spontaneous discussions with classmates, and form study groups. These interactions can deepen understanding and build a sense of community. While many online courses try to replicate this with discussion forums, live Q&A sessions, and virtual group projects, it may not be the same for everyone. Some learners thrive on in-person dialogue and may find the relative isolation of online learning to be a significant challenge. Furthermore, there is a risk of technical issues. Your learning experience is dependent on technology working smoothly. A poor internet connection, a problem with your computer, or a glitchy learning platform can disrupt your studies and cause considerable frustration. While most providers offer technical support, you must have reliable access to the necessary hardware and internet service to participate effectively in an online course. Finally, a critical consideration in the realm of finance is credibility and the risk of misinformation. The internet is filled with self-proclaimed gurus and experts. While there are countless high-quality, reputable online finance courses, there are also many that may offer biased, inaccurate, or even predatory information, often designed to sell you specific financial products. Vetting the credibility of an online course and its instructor is absolutely essential. This requires more due diligence than simply enrolling in a course at an accredited university. We will dedicate an entire future chapter to navigating this specific challenge. In conclusion, the decision of whether an online finance class is right for you involves a careful consideration of these pros and cons. If you are a self-motivated individual who values flexibility and a wide selection of topics, the benefits can be immense. However, if you thrive on structured, in-person interaction and are concerned about holding yourself accountable, you might find the online format challenging. The best approach is to be honest with yourself about your learning style, your schedule, and your ability to be a disciplined, independent student. Thank you for listening. In our next chapter, we will shift our focus to setting clear and achievable goals for your financial education, a critical step before you even begin your search for a course. Welcome to the next chapter in our series. Before we dive in, we must emphasize that the content provided here is for educational and informational purposes only. It does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. We are not licensed financial professionals. The information is general and does not take into account your personal financial situation. It is essential that you consult with a qualified, licensed professional before making any financial decisions. Any action you take based on the information in this series is entirely at your own risk. This series is intended to comply with United States regulations and YouTube's community guidelines by offering general education, not personalized recommendations. Hello, and thank you for continuing this journey with us. So far, we've explored the rise of online financial education, the different types of classes available, and the pros and cons of the virtual classroom. Now, before you start browsing course catalogs, it's time to take a crucial and often overlooked step: setting clear goals. Embarking on a learning journey without a destination in mind is like setting sail without a map. You might discover some interesting things along the way, but you're unlikely to end up where you truly want to be. In this chapter, we'll discuss the importance of defining what you want to achieve and provide a framework to help you create meaningful and effective learning goals. Why is this so important? Because your goals will act as your personal compass. They will guide your decisions, helping you to select a course that is truly relevant to your life. A well-defined goal will help you filter out the noise and focus on the education that will have the most impact. It also provides a powerful source of motivation. When you know why you are learning, you are far more likely to stay disciplined and see the course through to the end, especially when the material gets challenging or life gets busy. Your goals transform a passive act of watching videos into an active, purposeful pursuit of knowledge. So how do you set effective learning goals? A widely recognized and highly effective method is the SMART framework. This acronym stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Let's break down each of these components in the context of financial education. First, your goal must be specific. A vague goal like, "I want to learn about money," is a good start, but it isn't actionable. A specific goal drills down into the details. What exactly do you want to learn? For example, instead of learning about money, a specific goal might be, "I want to understand how to create a monthly household budget," or "I want to learn the difference between a stock and a bond," or "I want to understand the tax advantages of a Roth IRA." The more specific you can be, the easier it will be to find a course that directly addresses your needs. Second, your goal should be measurable. This means defining how you will know when you have achieved it. How do you measure the acquisition of knowledge? You can define this in terms of tangible outcomes. For instance, a measurable goal could be, by the end of the course, I want to have created a complete, written budget for my family for the next 3 months. Another example could be, I will know I've succeeded when I can explain the concept of diversification to a friend in a clear and simple way. Having a measurable outcome gives you a clear finish line to cross and a real sense of accomplishment. Third, the goal needs to be achievable. It's wonderful to be ambitious, but setting a goal that is completely out of reach can be discouraging. If you have never looked at the stock market before, a goal to become a master day trader in 3 months is likely not achievable and could lead to frustration. A more achievable goal would be, I want to learn the fundamentals of long-term, passive index fund investing. This means being realistic about your current knowledge, the time you can dedicate to learning, and the complexity of the subject. The aim is to challenge yourself, not to set yourself up for failure. Fourth, your goal must be relevant. This is perhaps the most personal part of the process. Your learning goal should matter to you. It needs to align with your current life situation and your long-term aspirations. Ask yourself, why do I want to learn this? Is it because you want to feel more in control of your daily spending? Is it because you're starting a family and want to plan for the future? Are you thinking about retirement and want to understand your options? A relevant goal provides the why that fuels your motivation. For example, a goal to learn about 529 college savings plans is highly relevant for a new parent, but might be less so for a retiree. Finally, a goal must be time-bound. This means setting a deadline. A deadline creates a sense of urgency and helps prevent procrastination. Without a time frame, a goal can easily be pushed to the back burner. A time-bound goal would sound like, I want to complete an introductory course on personal finance and create my first budget within the next 6 weeks. Or by the end of this year, I want to understand my company's 401k investment options and make an informed decision about my contribution. Setting a realistic deadline provides structure and a clear timeline for your learning journey. Let's put it all together with an example. A vague goal is, I want to save more money. A SMART learning goal is, I want to complete an online course on saving strategies specific, so that I can identify and implement 2 new methods to save an additional $100 per month from my paycheck, measurable. This is achievable given my current income and expenses achievable. It's relevant because I want to build an emergency fund, relevant. I will accomplish this and have the new savings automated within the next 3 months, time-bound. Take some time to think about what you truly want to accomplish. Grab a piece of paper or open a new document and brainstorm. What are the financial questions that keep you up at night? What financial tasks do you feel least confident about? What are your dreams for the future? And how does your financial knowledge, or lack thereof, play a role in achieving them? Your answers to these questions are the building blocks of your SMART goals. By setting clear, purposeful goals before you even enroll, you are taking the most important step toward a successful educational experience. You are defining your own success. Thank you for listening. In our next chapter, we will discuss how to evaluate the credibility of online courses and instructors, ensuring you find high-quality, trustworthy information. Join us for Chapter 5 as we learn how to navigate the online world with a critical eye. Welcome! Before we begin this chapter's discussion, we must reiterate that the information in this series is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for professional financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. We are not licensed financial advisors. The general information provided does not account for your specific financial situation. Always consult with a qualified, licensed professional before making financial decisions. Your reliance on any information presented in this series is solely at your own risk. This content is designed to be compliant with United States regulations and YouTube community guidelines by providing general education, not personalized recommendations. Hello, and thank you for joining us for Chapter 5. We have discussed the what, why, and how of online financial education. Now we arrive at one of the most critical topics in our series, credibility. The internet is a double-edged sword. While it provides unprecedented access to information, it also serves as a platform for misinformation and predatory sales tactics. In the world of finance, where your hard-earned money is on the line, the ability to distinguish a legitimate educational resource from a misleading one is paramount. This chapter will equip you with a practical toolkit for vetting online finance courses and their instructors, helping you to become a more discerning and confident consumer of financial education. Your first and most important area of investigation should be the instructor's background and qualifications. Who is the person teaching the course? Don't just take their on-page bio at face value. Do your own research. A simple online search of the instructor's name can reveal a great deal. Look for a professional history that aligns with what they are teaching. Have they worked in the financial industry? Do they have a relevant academic background? Pay close attention to professional credentials and designations. In the United States, certain certifications indicate that an individual has met rigorous ethical and educational standards. For example, a CFP, or Certified Financial Planner, has extensive training in personal financial planning.
Disclaimer: the information presented is for informational purposes only and is not professional financial, investment, or tax advice. All investments involve risk and may result in partial or total loss. You should always conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any financial decisions. By viewing this video, you agree not to hold the creator liable for any loss or damage arising from your use of the information provided,
including retirement, insurance, and estate planning. A CFA, or Chartered Financial Analyst, has passed a series of demanding exams focused on investment analysis and portfolio management. Other credentials like CPA, for Certified Public Accountant, are also relevant. While the absence of these credentials doesn't automatically disqualify an instructor, their presence is a strong indicator of a verified level of expertise and a commitment to professional standards. Be wary of instructors who have created their own impressive-sounding but unrecognized certifications. Next, critically examine the course content and curriculum. A credible course will be transparent about what you are going to learn. Look for a detailed syllabus or course outline that clearly lists the topics and modules covered. This transparency allows you to assess whether the course aligns with the SMART goals you set in the previous chapter. If a course description is vague, filled with buzzwords but lacking in specific details about the curriculum, it should be a red flag. The focus should be on education, not on teasing secret formulas or hidden knowledge. This leads us to a crucial point. You must be vigilant for marketing tactics disguised as education. The primary goal of a genuine educational course is to empower you with knowledge. The primary goal of a sales pitch is to get you to buy something else. Be extremely cautious of courses that seem to be a gateway to a much more expensive product or service. Red flags include an excessive focus on upselling you to a mastermind group, a proprietary software, or a high-priced personal coaching package. Legitimate courses may offer additional resources, but the core product should be a complete and valuable educational experience on its own. Perhaps the most important warning sign to watch for is the promise of guaranteed or unrealistic returns. This is a hallmark of financial scams. No one can guarantee profits in the investment world. Any course or instructor that promises you will double your money or achieve guaranteed weekly returns is not providing education. They are selling an impossible fantasy and should be avoided at all costs. Legitimate financial education focuses on principles, strategies, risks, and long-term planning. It teaches you how to think about investing and managing money. It does not promise specific outcomes. Another powerful tool at your disposal is independent reviews and testimonials. Look for reviews on third-party platforms, not just the curated testimonials on the course's own sales page. Search for reviews on sites like Trustpilot, Reddit, or other independent forums. When reading reviews, look for balanced and detailed feedback. A string of overly generic, 5-star reviews can sometimes be as suspicious as a series of negative ones. Pay attention to what former students say about the quality of the material, the instructor's teaching style, and the support they received. Does the feedback sound like it's from a real person who took the course to learn? Or does it sound like part of a marketing campaign? Finally, trust your intuition. If something feels too good to be true, it probably is. If an instructor's primary message is about how they got rich quickly, and how you can too by following their secret system, proceed with extreme caution. True financial competence is built on a foundation of knowledge, discipline, and realistic expectations, not on hype and empty promises. Vetting an online finance course takes a bit of extra effort, but it is time well spent. By investigating the instructor's credentials, analyzing the curriculum's transparency, watching for red flags like guaranteed returns, and seeking out independent reviews, you can significantly increase your chances of finding a high-quality, credible course that will genuinely help you on your financial journey. Thank you for your time. In our next chapter, we'll explore the financial commitment involved, discussing free versus paid courses, and how to determine the true value of an online class. We hope you'll join us for Chapter 6. Welcome to Chapter 6. We must begin by stating once again that the content in this audio series is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. We are not licensed financial professionals. The information provided is general and may not be suitable for your individual circumstances. We strongly recommend that you consult with a qualified, licensed professional before making any financial decisions. Your reliance on the information presented here is solely at your own risk. This series is designed to comply with United States regulations and YouTube's community guidelines by providing impartial education, not specific endorsements or advice. Hello and welcome back. After establishing your goals and learning how to vet your sources, you will inevitably face a very practical question. Should you pay for a course, or can you get the education you need for free? In the digital world, a wealth of financial information is available at both ends of this spectrum. Free resources can be an incredible starting point, while paid courses often promise a more structured and in-depth experience. In this chapter, we will objectively explore the world of both free and paid online finance classes, discussing the benefits and potential pitfalls of each to help you determine the true value of a financial education. Let's start with what is arguably the most accessible option: free resources. The amount of high-quality, no-cost financial information available today is truly remarkable. Many reputable sources offer this as a form of public service or outreach. For example, U.S. government agencies like the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, or CFPB, and the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, provide a vast library of articles, tools, and guides on their websites. These resources are unbiased and designed to protect and educate the consumer. Additionally, many nonprofit organizations dedicated to financial literacy offer excellent free courses and workshops. Reputable financial services companies, like brokerage firms and banks, also frequently provide extensive educational content. Their goal is often to attract informed customers, and they can be a great source for learning the mechanics of investing or understanding different types of accounts. These free resources are fantastic for foundational learning. If your goal is to understand the basics of budgeting, learn what an ETF is, or grasp the concept of compound interest, you can absolutely achieve that without spending a dime. However, it is crucial to navigate the world of free resources with a critical eye. The primary challenge is often a lack of structure. You may have to piece together your education from various articles, videos, and websites, which can be time-consuming and may leave gaps in your knowledge. Another consideration is the potential for a hidden agenda. Sometimes, a free webinar or workshop is actually a sales funnel designed to lead you toward purchasing a high-cost product or service. As we discussed in the last chapter, if the focus shifts from education to a high-pressure sales pitch, it's a significant red flag. With free content, the onus is on you, the learner, to curate your curriculum and constantly evaluate the source's credibility and intent. Now let's turn our attention to paid courses. What are you paying for when you enroll in a course that has a fee? One of the primary benefits is structure and curation. A well-designed paid course offers a logical, step-by-step curriculum that guides you from foundational concepts to more complex topics. This saves you the time and effort of having to find and organize the information yourself. The learning path is already laid out for you, which can be invaluable for beginners or those tackling a complex subject. Paid courses also often provide a higher level of depth and comprehensiveness. While free articles might give you a good overview of a topic, a paid course is more likely to offer detailed case studies, practical assignments, and in-depth analysis. You might also gain access to proprietary tools, such as advanced financial calculators or budgeting spreadsheets, that are not available to the public. Another significant value proposition for paid courses is access and support. Many paid programs include access to the instructor through Q&A sessions, forums, or even direct messaging. This can be incredibly helpful when you encounter a challenging concept and need clarification. Furthermore, paid courses often foster a sense of community. You get to interact with a cohort of fellow students who are pursuing similar goals. This community can be a powerful source of motivation, accountability, and shared learning. Some people find this structured support system is essential for their success. Of course, the obvious drawback of a paid course is the cost. Prices can range from a modest fee for a single class to thousands of dollars for an extensive certification program. It's important to ensure the price is justified by the value you receive. Before enrolling, consider whether the features offered, like instructor access, a structured curriculum, and a community, are important to your learning style. So how do you decide? The choice between free and paid resources is not about one being definitively better than the other. It's about what is right for you and your specific goals. A good approach is to start with free resources. Use them to build your foundational knowledge and to clarify your learning objectives. This exploration might be all you need, or it might help you identify specific areas where you'd be willing to invest in a more structured, in-depth education. Ultimately, the value of a course, whether free or paid, is measured by its ability to help you achieve the SMART goals you set for yourself. The price tag is just one factor in that equation. The real investment is your time and effort. Thank you for joining us. In our next chapter, we will delve into the technical aspects of online learning, discussing the different platforms and formats you will encounter. We hope you will join us for Chapter 7. Welcome to Chapter 7 of our series. It is essential to remind you before we start that the information provided here is for general educational and informational purposes only. This content is not financial, investment, legal, or tax advice, and we are not licensed financial advisors. The topics discussed are broad and may not be appropriate for your personal financial situation. Always consult with a qualified, licensed professional before making any financial decisions. Your reliance on any information in this series is solely at your own risk. This series is designed to be compliant with United States regulations and YouTube community guidelines by providing impartial education. Hello, and thank you for returning. So far, we've focused on the what and why of online financial education. Now let's turn our attention to the how. The way a course is delivered, the platform it uses, the format of its lessons, and the tools it provides can have a significant impact on your learning experience. Understanding this technical landscape will help you choose a course that not only provides the right information, but also presents it in a way that works for your personal learning style. In this chapter, we will explore the common platforms, formats, and tools you'll encounter in the digital classroom. First, let's discuss the fundamental structure of an online course, which generally falls into one of two categories: asynchronous or synchronous. An asynchronous course is the most common format. It is self-paced, meaning all the course materials, like video lectures, readings, and assignments, are available for you to access at any time. You work through the content on your own schedule, adhering only to final deadlines for assignments or the overall course. This format offers maximum flexibility, which we discussed as a major pro in an earlier chapter. If your schedule is unpredictable, an asynchronous course is likely the best fit. A synchronous course, on the other hand, involves real-time interaction. It requires you to be online at specific times for live lectures, webinars, or group discussions with your instructor and classmates. This format provides a more traditional classroom feel, with immediate feedback and dynamic conversation. It's an excellent option for learners who crave structure and social interaction to stay engaged. Many programs now offer a hybrid model, combining the flexibility of pre-recorded, asynchronous lectures with optional synchronous sessions for Q&A or discussion. Next, let's consider the platforms where these courses are hosted. You don't need to be a tech expert, but it helps to know the landscape. Many courses are offered on large learning management systems, or LMS platforms, like Coursera, Udemy, or edX. These platforms act as massive online marketplaces, hosting courses from various universities and individual instructors. They typically have a standardized, user-friendly interface for watching videos, submitting assignments, and tracking your progress. Other courses are self-hosted on an instructor's personal website, often using specialized software like Teachable or Kajabi. The experience on these platforms can be more customized and branded. The underlying technology is less important than its usability. Before enrolling, see if the platform offers a preview or a tour. Is the website easy to navigate? Is the video player reliable? A clunky, difficult-to-use interface can be a significant barrier to learning. Now let's talk about the formats of the learning materials themselves. The core of most online courses is the video lecture. But even within this category, there is variety. The talking head video, featuring the instructor speaking directly to the camera, helps create a personal connection. Another common format is the screencast, where the instructor shares their computer screen. This is incredibly effective for finance courses, as it allows them to walk you through a budgeting spreadsheet, demonstrate how to navigate an investing website, or explain a chart in detail. Many courses combine these, showing the instructor's face in a small window while they present slides or a screencast. Beyond video, most quality courses include a variety of downloadable resources. These are the materials you can keep and refer back to long after the course is over. Look for resources like printable worksheets for budgeting, PDF summaries of key concepts, checklists for financial tasks, and spreadsheet templates that you can customize. These practical tools bridge the gap between theory and real-world application. A key element that separates passive learning from active learning is interactivity. Many courses incorporate interactive tools to keep you engaged and test your knowledge. These often take the form of quizzes and knowledge checks at the end of a module. These aren't just for a grade. They are a low-stakes way for you to confirm that you've understood the material before moving on. Some advanced courses may even use simulations, allowing you to practice trading with virtual money or test different debt repayment scenarios in a risk-free environment. Finally, consider the community and support tools. Learning about finance can bring up a lot of questions, so having a way to get answers is crucial. A common feature is a discussion forum or Q&A section where you can post questions for the instructor or other students. This creates a collaborative learning environment where you can learn from the experiences of your peers. Some courses also create private social media groups, often on platforms like Facebook or Circle, to foster a more interactive community. When evaluating a course, look at how active these communities are. Is the instructor regularly present and answering questions? An engaged community can be one of the most valuable assets of an online course. In summary, the technical delivery of a course is a vital part of the overall experience. By considering whether you prefer a flexible asynchronous or a structured synchronous format, evaluating the usability of the platform, and looking for a rich mix of video, downloadable resources, and interactive tools, you can find a course that truly fits the way you learn. Thank you for listening. In our next chapter, we will discuss a critical aspect of learning about money: understanding and managing risk. We hope you'll join us for Chapter 8. Welcome to Chapter 8. Before we proceed, we must reiterate that this video series is for educational and informational purposes only. The content is not, and should not be interpreted as financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. We are not licensed financial professionals. All information provided is general in nature, and does not consider your personal financial situation or objectives. It is crucial to consult with a qualified, licensed professional before making any financial decisions. Your reliance on the information in this series is solely at your own risk. This series is created to be compliant with United States regulations and YouTube's community guidelines by providing impartial education, not recommendations. Hello, and thank you for joining us. In our journey through the world of online financial education, we now arrive at a topic that is fundamental to every financial decision you will ever make: risk. The word risk can often sound intimidating, bringing to mind images of dramatic market crashes or losing money. However, in the context of finance, risk is not just about the possibility of loss. It is an inherent part of any activity that has the potential for growth. Understanding risk is not about learning how to avoid it entirely, because that is impossible. It is about learning to recognize it, understand its different forms, and make informed choices. This chapter will provide a foundational, educational overview of financial risk. At its core, financial risk is the possibility that an outcome will differ from what is expected. It's the uncertainty associated with any financial action. When you put your money in a federally insured savings account, the risk of losing your principal is extremely low, but you also have a very low expected return, which might not even keep up with the cost of living. On the other hand, when you invest in a new startup company, the potential for high returns is much greater, but so is the risk of losing your entire investment. This relationship is known as the risk-return trade-off, a central concept in finance. Generally speaking, in a well-functioning market, to achieve a higher potential return, one must be willing to accept a higher level of potential risk. A key goal of financial education is to understand this trade-off, not to find a no-risk, high-return secret that does not exist. Financial risk is not a single, monolithic concept. It comes in many different forms. Understanding these categories can help you better analyze your own financial situation and the topics covered in any course you might take. Let's touch on a few of the most common types. First, there is market risk. This is the risk that the value of an investment will decrease due to factors that affect the overall financial market. Think of it as the risk of being in the market itself. Economic changes like a recession, shifts in interest rates set by the Federal Reserve, or major geopolitical events can cause the entire stock or bond market to decline. This type of risk cannot be eliminated simply by picking different individual stocks, as it affects the whole system. Next is inflation risk, also known as purchasing power risk. This is a more subtle but incredibly important concept. It's the risk that the money you have tomorrow won't buy as much as it does today. For example, if you hide $100 under your mattress, in a year, you will still have $100. But if the cost of goods and services, inflation, has gone up by 3%, your $100 can now only buy what $97 could have bought a year ago. Your money has lost purchasing power. This is a primary reason people seek investments that have the potential to grow faster than the rate of inflation. Another important type is credit risk, or default risk. This is the risk that a borrower will be unable to make their promised payments on a debt. If you lend money to a friend, there is a risk they won't pay you back. On a larger scale, when you buy a corporate or municipal bond, you are essentially lending money to that company or government entity. Credit risk is the chance that the issuer could run into financial trouble and fail to make its interest payments or repay the principal at maturity. Then there is liquidity risk. This refers to the risk of not being able to sell an asset quickly at a fair market price. Some assets, like publicly traded stocks of large companies, are very liquid. You can typically buy or sell them within seconds on any business day. Other assets, like a piece of real estate or a stake in a small private business, are illiquid. It could take months or even years to find a buyer and convert that asset into cash. This is an important consideration, as you want to ensure you can access your money when you need it. Recognizing these risks is the first step. The next step, which many advanced financial courses cover in detail, involves general principles of managing that risk. One of the most common concepts you will hear about is diversification. The idea behind diversification is not to put all your eggs in one basket. From a purely educational standpoint, it means spreading investments across various types of assets or sectors to help reduce the impact of a negative event in any single area. Another key principle is having a long-term perspective. Many types of market risk are focused on short-term volatility. History shows that while markets fluctuate significantly in the short term, the long-term trend has often been upward. A long-term viewpoint can help an individual avoid making reactive decisions based on temporary market movements. Understanding risk is a sign of financial maturity. It moves you from a position of fear or blind optimism to one of calculated and informed decision-making. Any credible online finance course will address these concepts honestly, presenting risk not as something to be feared, but as something to be understood and respected. Thank you for listening. In our next chapter, we will begin to look at the most common subject areas of online finance classes, starting with the bedrock of personal finance, budgeting and saving. We hope you'll join us for Chapter 9. Welcome to the 9th chapter of our series. We must begin, as always, by stating that this content is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended to be, and should not be taken as financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. We are not licensed financial professionals. The information shared here is general in nature, and does not account for your personal financial situation. It is imperative to consult with a qualified, licensed professional before making any financial decisions. Your reliance on this information is strictly at your own risk. This series is designed to comply with United States regulations and YouTube's community guidelines by providing impartial education. Hello, and thank you for returning. In our previous chapters, we've covered the landscape of online learning and the core concept of risk. Now we begin our exploration of the specific subjects you'll encounter in online finance classes, starting with the absolute bedrock of personal finance, budgeting and saving. For some, the word budget might sound restrictive, like a financial diet. But a more empowering way to view a budget is as a plan. It's a tool that gives you control, telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. This chapter will provide an educational overview of the concepts of budgeting and saving that are often taught in foundational finance courses. At its heart, budgeting is a simple process of awareness. It's about understanding two key things: the money that comes in, your income, and the money that goes out, your expenses. By tracking these flows, you gain a clear picture of your financial health. This clarity is the first step toward making intentional choices with your money. Online courses on this topic will often provide you with templates and tools to make this tracking process easier, helping you categorize your spending to see exactly where your money is being allocated each month. When you explore courses on budgeting, you will likely encounter several different methodologies. These are not rigid rules, but rather frameworks that can be adapted to different personalities and financial situations. One popular method often taught to beginners is the 50/30/20 guideline. This approach suggests dividing your after-tax income into 3 categories. 50% is allocated for needs, which are your essential expenses like housing, utilities, groceries, and transportation. 30% is allocated for wants, which are non-essential, lifestyle expenses like dining out, entertainment, and hobbies. The remaining 20% is designated for savings, which includes paying down debt beyond the minimum payments and saving for future goals. This is simply a guideline, a starting point to help people think about their spending in broad categories. Another method you may learn about is zero-based budgeting. This approach is more detailed and hands-on. With zero-based budgeting, the goal is to assign a specific job to every single dollar you earn. The formula is simple: income minus expenses equals 0. This doesn't mean you spend everything you make. It means that every dollar is accounted for. For example, any money left over after accounting for bills and spending would be intentionally assigned to a category like savings for a vacation or extra debt payment. This method promotes a high level of mindfulness about spending and is for individuals who prefer a detailed, proactive approach to managing their money. Regardless of the specific method, a recurring theme in many finance courses is the concept of pay yourself first. This is a simple but powerful psychological shift. It suggests that before you pay any bills or spend on anything else, the very first bill you pay is to your own savings. The idea is to treat your savings as a non-negotiable expense, just like your rent or mortgage. Many people accomplish this by setting up an automatic transfer from their checking account to their savings account on payday. By automating this process, it removes the temptation to spend the money and helps build a consistent saving habit over time. This brings us to the other side of the coin, saving. Budgeting creates the plan, and saving is the act of setting money aside for future use. A foundational concept taught in virtually every personal finance course is the importance of an emergency fund. An emergency fund is a stash of money set aside specifically for unexpected life events, a sudden job loss, an urgent medical issue, or a critical home repair. Having this cash reserve provides a crucial financial safety net. It can prevent a person from having to take on high-interest debt, like from a credit card, or from having to sell long-term investments at a bad time just to cover an unexpected expense. Courses will often discuss general guidelines for the size of such a fund, typically suggesting an amount that could cover 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses. Beyond emergencies, saving is about working toward your goals. Whether it's saving for a down payment on a house, a car, a child's education, or retirement, having specific, named savings goals can provide powerful motivation. It transforms saving from a chore into a purposeful act of building the future you envision. In essence, the skills of budgeting and saving are about creating a deliberate relationship with your money. They are the foundational building blocks upon which all other financial knowledge is built. An online course on this topic can provide the structure, tools, and knowledge to help you master these essential life skills. Thank you for listening. In our next chapter, we will build upon this foundation and explore the world of debt and credit management. We hope you will join us for Chapter 10. Welcome to Chapter 10. Before we begin, we must remind you that the information provided in this audio series is for educational and informational purposes only. It does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. We are not licensed financial professionals. The information is general and does not take into account your personal financial situation. It is essential that you consult with a qualified, licensed professional before making any financial decisions. Any action you take based on the information in this series is entirely at your own risk. This series is intended to comply with United States regulations and YouTube's community guidelines by offering general education. Hello, and thank you for continuing our series. Building on the foundation of budgeting and saving, we now turn to two of the most powerful and often misunderstood topics in personal finance: debt and credit. For many, debt can be a source of stress, while the concept of a credit score can seem like a mysterious number that rules our financial lives. The goal of a good online finance course, and the goal of this chapter, is to demystify these topics. We will provide an educational overview of the nature of debt, the mechanics of credit, and the general strategies often discussed for managing both. It's helpful to first understand that debt, which is simply the act of borrowing money to be paid back later, is not inherently good or bad. It is a financial tool. The context of how it's used is what matters. Online courses will often categorize debt to illustrate this point. For example, a mortgage to buy a home, or a student loan to fund an education, are often viewed as investments in an asset that has the potential to grow in value or increase one's earning potential over a lifetime. On the other hand, high-interest credit card debt used for purchases that lose value, known as depreciating assets, can be a significant financial burden. Understanding this distinction is a key learning objective in many personal finance classes. Debt comes in many forms. Secured debt is tied to an asset called collateral. A mortgage is a secured debt. The house is the collateral. An auto loan is also secured with the car as collateral. If the borrower fails to make payments, the lender has a legal right to take possession of the asset. Unsecured debt, on the other hand, is not backed by any collateral. Credit cards, personal loans, and medical bills are common examples of unsecured debt. Because the lender has no asset to recover if the borrower defaults, unsecured loans typically have higher interest rates to compensate for the lender's increased risk. Managing debt effectively is a cornerstone of financial health. Many educational courses will describe different strategic approaches to paying down debt. You will often hear about two popular methods: the debt snowball and the debt avalanche. It's important to understand these are simply conceptual models. The debt snowball method involves making the minimum payment on all debts, and then directing any extra money towards the debt with the smallest balance first.
Disclaimer: the information presented is for informational purposes only and is not professional financial, investment, or tax advice. All investments involve risk and may result in partial or total loss. You should always conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any financial decisions. By viewing this video, you agree not to hold the creator liable for any loss or damage arising from your use of the information provided.
Once that smallest debt is paid off, you snowball that entire payment amount onto the next smallest debt. This method is often noted for the psychological motivation that comes from achieving quick wins. The debt avalanche method takes a different approach. It also involves making minimum payments on all debts, but any extra money is directed towards the debt with the highest interest rate. Mathematically, this method can result in paying less interest over the life of the loans, as you are tackling the most expensive debt first. Neither method is presented as the right one. They are simply different strategies for organizing a repayment plan, appealing to different psychological drivers. Closely linked to the world of debt is your credit history. In the United States, your history of borrowing and repaying money is tracked by 3 major credit reporting agencies: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. These agencies compile this information into a credit report. The data from your credit report is then used to calculate a credit score, with the FICO score being one of the most widely used models. Online courses will break down what makes up this score to show it is not an arbitrary number. According to FICO, the score is calculated based on 5 main factors, each with a different weight. Payment history is the most significant factor, accounting for about 35% of the score. It simply tracks whether you have paid your bills on time. The second most important factor, at about 30%, is amounts owed, which includes your credit utilization ratio, the amount of credit you're using compared to your total credit limit. The length of your credit history makes up about 15% of the score. Generally, a longer history of responsible credit use can have a positive impact. Finally, credit mix, or the different types of credit you have, and new credit, which tracks recent applications for credit, each account for about 10% of the score. Understanding these components reveals that a credit score is a reflection of financial habits over time. It is a tool that lenders use to quickly assess the risk of lending money. A strong credit history can open doors to more favorable interest rates on loans, which can save a significant amount of money over time. In summary, debt and credit are integral parts of the modern financial system. By learning about the different types of debt, understanding the general strategies for managing it, and demystifying the components of a credit score, you can move from a position of uncertainty to one of informed control. Thank you for listening. In our next chapter, we will transition from managing debt to building wealth by exploring the foundational concepts of investing. We hope you will join us for Chapter 11. Welcome to Chapter 11. Before we proceed, it is crucial to state that the information in this series is provided for educational and informational purposes only. It is not, and should never be considered, financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. We are not licensed financial professionals. The concepts discussed are general in nature and do not take your personal financial situation into account. We strongly urge you to consult with a qualified and licensed professional before making any investment decisions. Any action you take based on this information is entirely at your own risk. This content is designed to be compliant with United States regulations and YouTube's community guidelines by providing impartial education, not recommendations. Hello and welcome back. In our last few chapters, we've built a solid foundation, covering budgeting, saving, and managing debt. Now we move to the topic that often represents the next step in a financial journey: investing. For many, the world of investing can seem like a complex and exclusive club. The goal of a good introductory online course is to show you that it doesn't have to be. Investing is a tool that, over the long term, has the potential to help your money grow and build wealth. This chapter will provide a purely educational introduction to the core concepts you will encounter when you begin to learn about investing. First, it's important to clarify the distinction between saving and investing. As we discussed, saving is typically for short-term goals and emergencies. It involves putting money in a very safe place, like a federally insured savings account, where the primary goal is the preservation of your original capital. Investing, on the other hand, is generally a long-term activity. When you invest, you are taking on a higher level of risk with the objective of achieving a higher rate of return than you would in a savings account. The goal of investing is to put your money to work, allowing it the potential to grow and outpace inflation over time. One of the most powerful forces you'll learn about in any investing course is the concept of compound growth, or compounding. Albert Einstein is often anecdotally quoted as having called it the eighth wonder of the world. In simple terms, compounding is the process of your earnings generating their own earnings. Imagine you plant a small apple tree. The first year, it produces a few apples. You can either eat those apples or you can plant their seeds. If you plant the seeds, the next year you might have a few more small trees, each producing a few apples. Over many years, this process can lead to an entire orchard, with your harvest growing exponentially. Compounding in finance works similarly. When you reinvest the earnings from your investments, those earnings, along with your original investment, have the potential to generate even more earnings. It's a process that rewards time and patience. So, what can you invest in? In the world of finance, investments are often grouped into categories called asset classes. These are groups of investments that have similar characteristics. The two most common asset classes that form the bedrock of many investment portfolios are stocks and bonds. A stock, also known as an equity, represents a small piece of ownership in a publicly traded company. If you buy a share of a company's stock, you become a shareholder. As the company succeeds and grows its profits, the value of your ownership stake, your share, has the potential to increase. Conversely, if the company performs poorly, the value of your share may decrease. Stocks are generally considered a growth-oriented asset class. A bond, on the other hand, is essentially a loan. When you buy a bond, you are lending money to an entity, which could be a corporation or a government body like a city or the federal government. In return for your loan, the issuer promises to pay you periodic interest payments over a set term. At the end of that term, known as the bond's maturity, the issuer repays your original loan amount, the principal. Bonds are often considered a more conservative, income-focused asset class compared to stocks. For a beginner, buying individual stocks and bonds can be a complex process. This is why many introductory courses will focus on understanding investment vehicles that offer built-in diversification. Two of the most common you will learn about are mutual funds and exchange-traded funds, or ETFs. Think of a mutual fund as a basket. A company creates the basket and a professional manager fills it with dozens or even hundreds of different stocks, bonds, or other assets. When you invest in the mutual fund, you are buying a small slice of that entire basket. This allows you to easily own a diversified collection of investments without having to purchase each one individually. An ETF, or exchange-traded fund, is similar in that it also holds a basket of investments. A primary difference is how they are bought and sold. ETFs trade on a stock exchange throughout the day, just like an individual stock, and their prices can fluctuate from moment to moment. Mutual funds, in contrast, are typically priced just once per day after the market closes. Both mutual funds and ETFs are popular ways for individuals to access a diversified portfolio of stocks and bonds. Understanding how they work is a fundamental part of modern investment education. This has been a very brief overview of some foundational investing concepts. The goal is not to tell you what to invest in, but to provide you with a basic vocabulary so you can better understand the material in any online finance course you choose to explore. Thank you for listening. In our next chapter, we will delve into another critical long-term financial topic, the fundamentals of retirement planning. We hope you will join us for Chapter 12. Welcome to the 12th chapter in our series. Before we begin, it is imperative that we remind you the information provided here is for educational and informational purposes only. It does not constitute, and should not be construed as financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. We are not licensed financial professionals. The content is general in nature, and does not account for your individual financial situation. Always consult with a qualified and licensed professional before making any financial decisions. Your reliance on the information presented is solely at your own risk. This series is designed to comply with United States regulations and YouTube's community guidelines by providing impartial education, not personalized recommendations. Hello, and thank you for joining us again. After introducing the fundamental concepts of investing, it's natural to apply that knowledge to one of life's most significant and long-term financial goals, retirement. The idea of no longer working is a goal for many, but it requires decades of careful planning. Online finance courses dedicate significant time to this topic because the tools and strategies involved are unique. In this chapter, we will provide an educational overview of the primary retirement savings accounts available in the United States, explaining what they are and the general concepts behind them. The U.S. government recognized the need to encourage long-term saving, and created special accounts that offer tax advantages to help people prepare for retirement. These are not investments themselves. Rather, they are special containers that hold your investments. The tax rules governing these containers are designed to help your money grow more efficiently over a long period. We will explore the two most common categories of these accounts: employer-sponsored plans and individual retirement arrangements. First, let's discuss employer-sponsored plans. For many Americans, this is their primary retirement savings vehicle. The most common type of plan is the 401k, named after a section of the U.S. tax code. If your employer offers a 401k, you can elect to have a portion of your paycheck automatically contributed to this account. A key feature of a traditional 401k is that contributions are often made on a pre-tax basis. This means the money goes into your account before federal and state income taxes are calculated for that paycheck, which has the effect of lowering your taxable income for the year. The investments inside the account then have the potential to grow tax-deferred, meaning you do not pay taxes on any investment gains or earnings year after year. Taxes are typically paid in the future, during retirement, when you withdraw the money. One of the most valuable features you will learn about in courses on this topic is the concept of the employer match. To encourage employees to save, many companies offer to match a certain portion of their employees' contributions. For example, a common matching formula is a dollar-for-dollar match up to, say, 3% of your salary, and then 50 cents on the dollar for the next 2%. This is often described as one of the closest things to free money in the financial world. Understanding the specifics of your employer's matching program is a critical piece of retirement education. The second major category of retirement accounts is the individual retirement arrangement, or IRA. As the name implies, these are accounts that you can open on your own, separate from any employer. IRAs are for everyone, whether you have a 401k at work, are self-employed, or are not currently in the workforce. There are two primary types of IRAs that you will learn about, and they are distinguished by how they are taxed: the traditional IRA and the Roth IRA. A traditional IRA works in a way that is conceptually similar to a traditional 401k. Depending on your income and whether you have a retirement plan at work, your contributions may be tax deductible. This means, like the 401k, you might get an immediate tax benefit by lowering your taxable income today. The money in the account then has the potential to grow tax deferred, and you would pay income tax on the withdrawals you make in retirement. A Roth IRA flips the tax treatment around. Contributions to a Roth IRA are made with after-tax dollars. This means you do not receive an immediate tax deduction for your contributions. However, the major potential benefit of a Roth IRA comes later. Your investments have the potential to grow completely tax-free when you withdraw the money in retirement, provided you follow the rules. The withdrawals, both your original contributions and all the investment earnings, are typically free from federal income tax. The choice between a traditional and a Roth account is a strategic one, based on an individual's expectations about their income and tax rates now versus in the future. Educational courses will not tell you which one to choose, but they will explain the mechanics of each so that you can understand the implications. The key educational takeaway is the concept of tax now versus tax later. Retirement planning is the ultimate long-term financial game. It requires starting early, being consistent, and understanding the tools at your disposal. Online courses can provide invaluable knowledge, helping you decode the alphabet soup of 401k, S and IRAs and understand the powerful benefits of tax-advantaged growth over many decades. Thank you for listening. In our next chapter, we will touch upon another important area of financial planning: the basics of insurance. We hope you will join us for Chapter 13. Welcome to the 13th chapter of our series. Before we start, it is crucial to state that the information provided here is for general educational and informational purposes only. It does not constitute financial, investment, insurance, legal, or tax advice. We are not licensed financial professionals. The concepts discussed are broad and may not be suitable for your individual situation. Always consult with a qualified and licensed professional before making any decisions related to insurance or financial planning. Your reliance on this information is strictly at your own risk. This series is designed to comply with United States regulations and YouTube's community guidelines by providing impartial education. Hello, and thank you for returning. Thus far in our series, we have focused primarily on building wealth through budgeting, saving, and investing. However, a crucial part of any sound financial plan involves protecting what you have built. Life is unpredictable, and unexpected events can create significant financial hardship. This is where insurance comes in. The fundamental purpose of insurance is risk management. It is a tool designed to transfer the risk of a large, unexpected financial loss from an individual to an insurance company. In exchange for a regular payment, known as a premium, the company agrees to provide a financial benefit if a covered event occurs. In this chapter, we will provide an educational overview of the basic types of insurance you will learn about in personal finance courses. First, let's discuss health insurance. In the United States, medical care can be extremely expensive. A serious illness or accident can lead to bills that can be financially devastating for an individual or family. Health insurance is designed to help cover these costs. It provides a way to pay for a portion of medical expenses, including doctor visits, hospital stays, and prescription drugs. Online courses will often explain key terms you need to know, such as a deductible, which is the amount you pay for covered healthcare services before your insurance plan starts to pay, and a copay, which is a fixed amount you pay for a covered service. Understanding health insurance is a vital component of personal financial stability in the U.S. Next is life insurance. The primary purpose of life insurance is to provide a financial benefit to designated beneficiaries upon the death of the insured person. It is not a tool for the person who owns the policy, but rather a way to provide for others who depend on their income. This financial benefit can be used to replace lost income, cover funeral expenses, pay off a mortgage, or fund a child's education. Courses on this topic will typically describe the two main categories of life insurance. Term life insurance provides coverage for a specific period, such as 10, 20, or 30 years. Permanent life insurance, such as whole life, provides coverage for the individual's entire life and often includes a savings component that can build cash value over time. Another critical, but often overlooked, type of insurance is disability insurance. Many financial experts consider your ability to earn an income to be your most valuable asset. A serious illness or injury could prevent you from working for months or even years, leading to a complete loss of income. Disability insurance is designed to replace a portion of that lost income if you become unable to work due to a disability. There are typically two types: short-term disability, which may cover a period of a few months, and long-term disability, which can provide benefits for many years, sometimes until retirement age. It serves as a crucial safety net to help cover living expenses while you are unable to earn a paycheck. Finally, there is property and casualty insurance, which most people are familiar with in the form of auto and homeowners insurance. The purpose of this insurance is to protect your physical assets. Auto insurance provides financial protection in case of an accident. A key component is liability coverage, which helps pay for damages or injuries you may cause to another person or their property. It can also cover damage to your own vehicle. In nearly every state, carrying a minimum level of auto insurance is required by law. Homeowners insurance provides coverage for your house and your personal belongings inside it from damage or destruction due to events like fire or theft. It also includes liability coverage, which is crucial. This protects you financially if someone is injured on your property and you are found to be legally responsible. If you rent your home, a similar policy called renter's insurance is available to protect your personal belongings and provide liability coverage. In essence, insurance is the defensive side of your financial plan. While saving and investing are focused on growth, insurance is focused on protection and preservation. It provides a buffer against the financial shocks that life can throw your way, helping to ensure that an unexpected event does not derail your long-term financial goals. Thank you for listening. In our next chapter, we will address another complex but important subject: the basics of understanding taxes in the United States. We hope you will join us for Chapter 14. Welcome to Chapter 14. Before we begin this discussion, we must state, with absolute clarity, that the information provided here is for general educational and informational purposes only. It is not and must not be considered tax, legal, financial, or investment advice. We are not certified public accountants, tax attorneys, or licensed financial professionals. The U.S. tax code is extremely complex and changes frequently. Your personal tax situation is unique. Always consult with a qualified and licensed tax professional for advice regarding your specific circumstances. Your reliance on this information is strictly at your own risk. This series is designed to comply with United States regulations and YouTube's community guidelines by providing impartial education. Hello, and thank you for joining us as we approach the end of our series. We now arrive at a topic that touches every aspect of personal finance: taxes. For many people, taxes can feel like an intimidating and confusing subject. While online courses cannot replace the guidance of a professional tax advisor, they can provide invaluable foundational knowledge. Understanding the basic concepts of the U.S. tax system empowers you to better comprehend your paycheck, make more informed financial decisions, and understand the language of finance. This chapter will provide a purely educational overview of some of the fundamental concepts of the U.S. federal income tax system. First, what is the purpose of taxes? At the most basic level, taxes are how governments, federal, state, and local, raise money to pay for public services. This includes everything from funding our national defense and infrastructure like roads and bridges, to supporting social programs, education, and scientific research. When you get a paycheck, you'll notice several deductions. One of the largest is typically for federal income tax. The United States uses a progressive tax system. This is a core concept to understand. A progressive system means that people with higher taxable incomes are subject to higher tax rates than people with lower taxable incomes. This is achieved through a system of tax brackets. A tax bracket is a range of income that is taxed at a specific rate. For example, in a given year, the first portion of your income falls into the lowest bracket and is taxed at that bracket's rate. Once your income surpasses the top of that bracket, the next portion of your income falls into the next bracket and is taxed at that bracket's higher rate, and so on. A common misunderstanding is that if you move into a higher tax bracket, all of your income is now taxed at that higher rate. This is incorrect. Only the income within that higher bracket is subject to the higher rate. This leads to two important terms you will learn about in a finance course: your marginal tax rate and your effective tax rate. Your marginal tax rate is the tax rate you pay on your very last dollar of income. It corresponds to the highest tax bracket your income falls into. Your effective tax rate, on the other hand, is the actual percentage of your total income that you pay in taxes. It is calculated by dividing the total amount of tax you paid by your total income. Your effective tax rate will almost always be lower than your marginal tax rate, because of the way the bracket system works. Next, let's discuss two terms you will hear constantly in any discussion about taxes: deductions and credits. While they both can reduce the amount of tax you owe, they work in very different ways. A tax deduction is an amount of money that can be subtracted from your gross income to lower your taxable income. By reducing the amount of your income that is subject to tax, a deduction lowers your tax bill. Common examples include deductions for contributions to a traditional IRA or interest paid on student loans. A tax credit, on the other hand, is a dollar-for-dollar reduction of the actual tax you owe. It is subtracted directly from your tax bill, not from your income. Because of this, a tax credit is generally considered more valuable than a tax deduction of the same amount. For example, a $1,000 tax deduction might only save you $220 if you are in the 22% marginal tax bracket. But a $1,000 tax credit reduces your tax bill by the full $1,000. Finally, it's important to understand that not all income is taxed in the same way. The most common type of income is earned income, which is the money you receive from working a job. This income is taxed according to the progressive tax brackets we discussed. Another major category is capital gains. A capital gain occurs when you sell an asset, such as a stock or a piece of real estate, for more than you paid for it. The tax treatment of capital gains depends on how long you held the asset. Short-term capital gains, from assets held for 1 year or less, are typically taxed at the same rates as your ordinary earned income. Long-term capital gains, from assets held for more than 1 year, are generally subject to their own, often lower, tax rates. This has been a very high-level overview of an incredibly complex system. The goal is not to make you a tax expert, but to introduce you to the vocabulary and the core concepts. Understanding these basics is a crucial part of financial literacy, as nearly every financial decision, from how you invest to how you save for retirement, has potential tax implications. Thank you for listening. In our final chapter, we will bring everything together and discuss how to choose the right online finance course for you. We hope you will join us for Chapter 15. Welcome to the final chapter of our series. For the last time, we must begin by emphasizing that the content provided has been for educational and informational purposes only. It is not financial, investment, legal, tax, or any other form of professional advice. We are not licensed professionals. The information shared has been general in nature and does not account for your unique personal situation. The single most important takeaway from this entire series is the necessity of consulting with qualified, licensed professionals before making any financial decisions. Your reliance on any information from this series is solely at your own risk. This content was designed to be compliant with United States regulations and YouTube's community guidelines by providing impartial education. Hello, and welcome to our concluding chapter. Over the past 14 chapters, We have journeyed through the entire landscape of online financial education. We've explored the pros and cons of the virtual classroom, the importance of goal setting, and the critical skill of vetting your sources. We've provided foundational overviews of key financial topics, from budgeting and credit to investing, retirement, insurance, and taxes. Now it is time to bring all that knowledge together. The ultimate goal of this series was to answer the question: are online finance classes right for you? If you've determined that the answer is yes, this final chapter will serve as your practical guide, providing a step-by-step framework to help you choose the right course for your specific needs. This process is not about finding the best course in the world. It is about finding the course that is the best fit for you. This requires looking inward first. So before you open your web browser, take a moment for self-assessment. Let's walk through a final checklist of questions to ask yourself. Question 1. What are my SMART learning goals? We dedicated an entire chapter to this, and it remains the most important first step. Do not proceed until you have a clear answer. Vague goals like "get better with money" are not enough. Are you trying to master a specific skill, like creating a zero-based budget? Are you seeking to understand a specific concept, like the difference between a Roth and a traditional IRA? Write down your goals. Make them specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. This written goal will be the lens through which you evaluate every potential course. Question 2. What is my current knowledge level? Be honest with yourself. Are you an absolute beginner who needs to start with the very basics of what a stock is? Or do you have a solid foundation and are looking for intermediate-level content on a topic like asset allocation? Choosing a course that is either too basic or too advanced can lead to boredom or frustration, and you will be less likely to complete it. Look for courses that are explicitly labeled for your skill level. Question 3. What is my preferred learning style and format? As we discussed, courses come in many forms. Do you need the structure of a synchronous course with live sessions to keep you accountable? Or does your schedule demand the flexibility of a self-paced, asynchronous program? Do you learn best by watching talking head videos, by following along with screencasts of spreadsheets, or by reading detailed articles? Look at the course previews. Does the instructor's communication style resonate with you? Choosing a format that aligns with how you learn best will dramatically improve your experience and knowledge retention. Question 4. Who is the instructor and are they credible? This step is non-negotiable. Vetting your source is paramount in financial education. Research the instructor's background. Do they have relevant professional experience or credentials, like a CFP or CPA? Look for independent reviews on third-party platforms. Be extremely wary of instructors who use hype-filled language or promise guaranteed results. A credible educator focuses on providing knowledge and frameworks for thinking, not on selling secrets to instant wealth. Question 5. What is the true cost and value proposition? Consider both free and paid options. Is your goal foundational enough that it can be met with high-quality free resources from government agencies or nonprofits? If you are considering a paid course, what specific value are you getting for your money? Is it a structured curriculum, access to the instructor, a supportive community, or practical tools and templates? Compare the cost to the depth of the curriculum and the features offered. Your investment should align with the value you expect to receive in achieving your specific SMART goals. Question 6. What are the course logistics and expectations? Read the syllabus carefully. How long is the course, and how much time per week is required? Are there graded assignments or exams? What kind of support is offered if you get stuck? Understanding these practical details up front will prevent surprises and help you determine if you can realistically commit to the program. By thoughtfully answering these 6 questions, you will create a detailed profile of the perfect course for you. This profile becomes your personal rubric for making a final decision. It transforms your search from a passive scroll through endless options into a proactive and targeted mission. The journey to financial literacy is a marathon, not a sprint. It is a lifelong process of learning and adapting. Enrolling in an online course can be a powerful and transformative step on that journey. It is an investment in your most important asset, yourself. We hope this series has provided you with the clarity and confidence to navigate your options, make an informed choice, and take that next step toward a more secure financial future. Thank you for listening.
Disclaimer. The information presented is for informational purposes only and is not professional financial, investment, or tax advice. All investments involve risk and may result in partial or total loss. You should always conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any financial decisions. By viewing this video, You agree not to hold the creator liable for any loss or damage arising from your use of the information provided.